Boom! Welcome back to the Blood Clot channel. In today's video, I will be explaining and also diagnosing why my coolant system has a lot of built up pressure. I am going to be doing it on a 2019 Kenworth T680 MX13 EPA17. This video will also be useful to diagnose other trucks as well. Stay tuned. So guys, recently I was on Long Island, New York, making a delivery, and I was doing a post inspection check because I was sitting at the receiver overnight for delivery in the morning, and I saw a bunch of coolant flowing underneath the truck. So when I did an observation, it was leaking from this guy here. So what it did, it sprayed up on here and it messed up all over the truck. So based on that, I did a few digging, I did some research, and started diagnosing what the problem is. What I came to find out, there are three reasons why the coolant system will build up pressure. One, you can have a bad EGR. Two, you can have a bad head gasket. And three, you may have a bad compressor. So initially I did the diagnosis, and I found out that my compressor was bad. So this is what I did to get home. If it was a different case, I wouldn't have moved that truck, but it was just my compressor. So in today's test, I will show you guys how to properly diagnose. If it's your EGR cooler, it will have combustion gas in the coolant reservoir here, and if it's a bad head gasket, it will have combustion gas, and also you will have overheating problem. Another way to eliminate if it is your head gasket, you can pull your dipstick, and if it's creamy, it's your head gasket. What that means is, due to the blown head gasket, it is mixing coolant with oil, and it will have a creamy mixture. And as you can see, when I did my diagnosis, it wasn't the head gasket. The next thing that I would have tested for is combustion gases in the coolant reservoir, but at the time I didn't. So I'm going to show you guys what I did that led to my conclusion that it was my AC compressor. But in today's video, I'm going to actually test and show you guys what I did. But I'm going to do the combustion test first. For the combustion leak test, you're going to need something like this. I would recommend getting the one with the squeeze ball, because this one you need a vacuum source, but there are other ways to go around it. So let me set it up real quick and show you how. I already did this test, guys, so to make sure everything works, so I'm just doing it again so that you guys can see. So set it up like this. This is a liquid. As you see the instruction, if it's blue, there's no leak present. If it's yellow, leak detected. So you want the engine to be running for at least 10 minutes. I had the engine running earlier, so I can just go straight to the test. As you can see, it's still blue, but I am going to go where there's a known exhaust leak. This is the exhaust pipe. I'm gonna show you the difference when there is exhaust detected. As you can see the difference, it's yellow when I did it where the exhaust actually is. So I eliminated two problems, which it would be the EGR cooler and also the head gasket. So when I was on Long Island, New York, this is what I set up, because when the truck is running, so much pressure will build up that it would push coolant through this relief valve. So what I did, I ran a hose, as you can see right here, ran it to right here and to this bottle right here. So that's what I did to get home, but I will use this and do a second test that I did to know and solidify that it was my compressor that's bad. So you want to get this filled with water. Also guys, when your compressor is bad and pushing pressure into your cooling system, you can always go around your dryer, that's this guy right here, and normally there should be an oil spot when this dryer right here blows off excess air pressure. As you can see, this is oily substance, and if you can smell closely, it is coolant. and there should be any coolant in the system. If there's coolant in the system, obviously your compressor is either cracked or the gasket is leaking, because on the compressor which is this guy right here, it is cooled by coolant. So this is like an in or out, and then this one is also a coolant line. So this is your compressor. So if it's bad, it will put air in the system. So guys, I have the truck running, and if you look closely, it is still bubbling. And if you look right there, there's no bubbles. And I came to the conclusion that if it was the head gasket or the EGR, it would have that water right there bubbling all the time. So this is also the other test that I did in New York, and I'm going to pump the brake until the air pressure or the compressor turns on. So just pump your brake, and what this is doing is it's going to turn the compressor on, and you're going to see what happens. As you can see, so guys, next test I didn't complete it because I didn't want to mess up the place with coolant. So what would have happened is, when you get the compressor to kick on, if you can look, it fill all the way up. When the compressor is building air, it also forces pressure in the cooling system, so this will fill up with pressure and forces the coolant out. But as you can see, I am at an apartment complex and I didn't want to mess up the ground with coolant. So that is the other test that I did. And if you release all the brake air from the tank by pumping the brake, and when it starts to build up, coolant starts to push out of this, when you take the cap off, it's a bad compressor. So that was the final thing that I did, but I didn't want to mess the place up. So yeah, all in all, those are the diagnosis tests you guys can run to eliminate if you have a bad EGR, which would mean only combustion gas will be in the cooling system. After you check if there is coolant mixed with oil on the dipstick or the filler neck, and if there is oil mixed with coolant, it would look creamy. That would mean that there's a bad head gasket. If you eliminate those two, the only other issue is your compressor, your air compressor is bad. So if you had found anything useful from this video, any valuable information, please don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. So until then, just keep trucking. Peace.